How Pochettino will set up Chelsea today. We're going to be looking at starting 11 transfers, formations, tactics, all that good stuff. Do get into the comments below how you think Pochettino will set up Chelsea. I think it's a really interesting team to talk about. A lot of versatile attackers, no real number 9, and a little hole in midfield for a destroyer that hopefully will be filled by one player that we're going to be talking about today. Right, first up, let's talk tactics. Chelsea, in terms of their system, formation, I think the squad really suits playing maybe a 3-4-3 formation. This is something that Pochettino has played in his career. He did it at Spurs, he did it a bit at PSG at times, and it's an option for a system. I think that would get the best out of Chelsea's wing-backs in Reece James and Ben Chilwell, allowing them to playing a double pivot, and of course Thiago Silva anchoring and leading the back, controlling the play with Fofana and Badiashile side. Of course, the one problem with this formation for Pochettino, it only means that he has 3 attackers to pick. Chelsea, of course, do need a number 9. If we were to remove one of the centre-backs and bring a number 9 in, let's say for Fofana that's already in the squad, throw him into number 9 and Nkunku to number 10, and then switch to a 4-2-3-1. When we're looking at the formations that Pochettino played in the Premier League, he mainly played this 4-2-3-1 shape. That consisted of a back 4, 2 flying wing-backs in Kyle Walker and Danny Rose, 2 solid defensive midfielders, one very much being a ball winner, the other one being a ball carrier, and then a front 4 consisting of a second striker at number 10, a wide playmaker in Christian Eriksen that would move inside to allow the wing-back to get further forward, and of course Heung-min Son, the goal scorer on the left, supporting Harry Kane. I think this 4-2-3-1 kind of gets the best out of certain players within Chelsea's squad. I like the idea of the double pivot, the fullbacks getting involved. I think one area that Chelsea probably needs to recruit in is maybe on this right-hand side. Madueke's more of a kind of inverted winger, a player that's going to receive the ball, in the position and then look to carry inside. Whereas Pochettino in the Premier League has favoured more of a creative player within that position that's going to move into the inside right channel. So let's take a look at the signings. I think there is holes in the Chelsea squad. I think a new goalkeeper's needed. Of course, with Mendy moving to Saudi Arabia and Kepa maybe not being favoured by Pochettino, the instant solution to this would be signing Mike Mignon from AC Milan. I think the big problem here is the price tag is a stumbling block to bring him from Milan to Chelsea. But for me, one of the best keepers on the planet, brilliant shot stopper, fantastic with the ball at his feet, great throw on him to start counter-attacks, and would evolve Chelsea out of the back. And I do think that's a position that needs to be recruited for. Take a recent game against Juventus in Serie A, 3 saves, a man of the match performance. This is the type of goalkeeper he is. He turns up in the big games. Not only that game, but against Napoli in the Champions League. Outstanding goalkeeping in the first leg. Made 5 saves, all really, really top quality there. And I think him coming to Chelsea would massively improve their back line. But we're going to leave Kepa in at the moment because I think that's quite a difficult player to bring in. Will cost a lot of money. And for me, Chelsea need to spend on other positions as well. First up, defensive midfield. Enzo Fernandez is literally one of my favourite players in the Premier League and the top 5 players since joining per 90 in terms of progressive passes and passes into the final third from midfield. He is absolutely brilliant. His ability to dictate the game is phenomenal. The one thing I'd say, though, maybe a slight criticism of him is he's probably not a holding number 6. I'd prefer him operating as a roaming playmaker. Think a Moussa Dembele at Spurs, a guy that can get on the ball, that can carry through, that can distribute. I think Andre Santos is going to have a great career at Chelsea. He's a brilliant signing, but he is more of a box-to-box midfielder that if he was played with Enzo Fernandez, he's going to be the player that's going to be making those attacking moves versus Enzo. And what I'd like to see Chelsea do is actually get a holding midfielder in to sit behind Enzo that's going to win the ball back, that's going to distribute the ball, that can play as well. Moises Caicedo is literally the best player Chelsea could buy on the market. Premier League proven, massive amounts of potential. In terms of his dual win rate, in the air, on the deck, it's absolutely world class. He's a player that will win the ball back and simply move it on, but he can also play. I think that double pivot, which could allow, Reece James to motor on, could allow, Ben Chilwell to get into those advanced areas and know that there is a real solid defensive base with those 4 players to really hold. Caicedo could operate as a half-back, dropping back, but usually will hold in that defensive midfield position. His signing is vitally important in the Premier League. So in terms of that pairing of midfielders, it would give Chelsea the perfect platform. Caicedo, second in the Premier League in terms of tackles plus interceptions. He's going to win the ball back, in superb fashion. Then he's going to distribute it to Fernandes, which is perfect. Fernandes is the perfect distributor, ranking number 1 for passes into the final third per 90 and second for progressive passes for Chelsea. He's going to get the ball, fire it into the feet of the forwards, and then the forwards are going to combine and create those opportunities. And I think getting someone like Moises Caicedo for around £85 million is vitally important for Chelsea's evolution. I think that's the first position they're going to look at. Secondly, one of the positions I think they should recruit for as well is this right-hand side. I like Madueke. I think he's got big potential as that wide winger, but I think signing someone to play the Christian Eriksen role, that playmaker, is important. And Szoboszlai is on the market. RB Leipzig, creative attacking midfielder, comfortable playing number 10, wide left and wide right. He's a player that could really utilise the ball, fantastic technician. He's got the ability to not only take people on with his really silky dribbling, but he's a threat from range in terms of shots from outside the box. Always a danger. Technically superb. I think would be the perfect player that Poch could mould into one of the best creative attacking midfielders on the planet. It would allow Reece James to provide the width in the final third. Of course, Chilwell could operate as a balanced player, at times getting into the final third, other times sitting a little bit deeper, allowing Sterling to play that wide position, creating that kind of attacking 5 structure that we've come to see over and over again in the league. But Szoboszlai to Chelsea would be absolutely ideal with Mauricio Pochettino to play that Christian Eriksen role. Let's move on to the centre-forward position, because I think that's another interesting one. I do like what I've seen from Fofana. I've done a little bit of analysis of his time before he joined Chelsea. He's a forward that reminds me of Yakubu. Got the agility, got good feet, finishes powerfully. I like him. I think he's got potential. But Chelsea definitely need to go into the market. Lukaku on the way out. Bringing someone of top quality would be the solution. I think Victor Osimhen would be the guy. Victor Osimhen's quality, in front of goal in terms of how he can get his opportunities and so forth is massive. He's one of the best strikers in the world. He's very much a kind of striker that operates inside the penalty box to great effect. And we take a look at his stats from last season in Serie A. 26 goals from 32 games, only 30 starts, a goal every 99 minutes. This guy is the ultimate bagsman and would be absolutely perfect for Mauricio Pochettino's Chelsea to lead the line. Fantastic when the ball's wide, very, very good with his head, really good in the penalty area, and I think he'd be the perfect guy for Chelsea. That being said, it's going to cost a lot of money to bring him from Napoli, and if Chelsea are to buy a Szoboszlai, a Caicedo to join the attacking element, maybe signing someone like Jackson from Villarreal could be, a good signing, around 30 million. The one concern I've got with Jackson, he did fail a medical at Bournemouth, in January. There was an agreement there for him to join Bournemouth, but he had a bit of a hamstring problem. That's a slight concern. And there's also a hip problem that's been reported as well. But if you're, looking to sign a young striker, 22 years old, big potential. In terms of him as well, he's coming into form at the back end of the season, scored 9 goals, 8 in April and May, and last season in La Liga, 12 goals in 24 games for 5th place for Villarreal. He's very much a poacher in the penalty area, similar to Victor Osimhen, but further back in his development. Osimhen is there right now, one of the most complete strikers in the league, and that's the player I'd buy. But Jackson could be a really good alternative for Mauricio Pochettino. I think this team has got great balance, and it will allow Poch to utilise different formations. We mentioned the 3-4-3. We've mentioned this kind of 4-2-3-1 that we've seen over and over again. But also, looking at other formations and solutions. One of his favoured formations at Spurs, the back end of his time there, was the 4-4-2 diamond in the Premier League. And that potentially could see someone like Gusto coming into right back with Chilwell, Caicedo anchoring the midfield, and maybe Reece James operating as an inside central midfield player that's going to get on the ball and play box to box, allowing Osimhen and Nkunku to play as a 2 and Szoboszlai in behind. That is a very, very dangerous diamond. The width coming from fullback, but also the wide players utilising that space if necessary. Szoboszlai drifting from left to right to get into number 10. The strikers holding the width. This would be a fantastic option for Mauricio Pochettino, not only utilising Reece James in a higher position, but getting those 3 narrow attackers to really get behind the opponent's backline. I like that as an idea, but also I think looking at the players that Chelsea have got, there's a lot of options in the attacking sense. And Nkunku can play all across the front line. Szoboszlai can play all across the front line. Same can Sterling. Same Madueke could play there, and we even spoke about Mudryk, who has big potential. massive potential. I think he's a player that has ridiculous speed, needs to build his confidence in the Premier League. But if he can reach his potential, you've got a world beater on the hands. That's either operating as a striker in this diamond formation, or if we're shifting back to that kind of 4-2-3-1 shape we've spoke about before. Madueke operating wide right, Reece James back to fullback, Szoboszlai maybe as the 10, Mudryk wide left, and then Nkunku through the middle. I think there's loads of options for Mauricio Pochettino. It's very, very exciting. Alternatively to that, you've got the likes of Fofana, who can come in at centre-back, or Levy Colwell, who's come back from Brighton, that could easily slot into a back three, allowing Chelsea again to change their shape. The formation that Poch did play at Spurs was this 3-4-1-2. Dele Alli sitting behind two strikers, Heung-min Son and Harry Kane. Another system and formation that Pochettino could do. He's a great manager, Pochettino. I can't wait for him to get his hands on this Chelsea squad. There's a lot of young players in there with massive potential. Poch is a coach, he's a manager that improves players, and it is exciting for next season. Let me know what you think, though. What formation will he go with? 4-2-3-1, 3 at the back, midfield diamond. All those options are for Chelsea. I've been Statman Dave. Subscribe if you're new. We'll see you later.